before I bring the jury in, can I give you a line? We have some other witnesses.
Yes, Judge. Our next witness would be Mrs. Pino. Pino.
Okay.
You think that'll take us to the end of the day?
Okay.
I think. Yeah. Okay. And then tomorrow we would have medical doctor Barrett and Mr. Mescalato, who we didn't examine. There may be a logistical issue with him that we would discuss in terms of whether he can appear remotely. It's a 5-minute examination if he can do it remotely. And there may be additional witnesses, but we expect that we would wrap up tomorrow
as well.
We would wrap up tomorrow.
Okay. All right. Very good. Okay then.
Yeah, before the next witness takes the stand, I wanted to bring to the court's attention that I think it was on June the 5th, I had filed a motion for an order in limine regarding some photographs that I had gotten, I think it was the night before or something, and I believe some of those photographs the defense wants to witness.
Yes.
I've identified a number of them. The majority of the photos that they have, tell you what, you take your podium, I'll take mine.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay, you're fine. So I can tell the court that they are defense A25, A26, A24,
I don't know if it
A29. Hold on. A30 and A31. These were photographs that were mentioned in the state's motion for an order in limine. I think when they were provided to the state, they were provided with a share file that was listed as something along the lines of quote-unquote context photos.
Okay.
Whether that, I mean, not that that's really relevant, but I think that's what the defense is using them for, and I don't think that they're relevant.
2 of those are day of photos? Did you mean to include those?
No,
The day of, there's 2 there.
no, I didn't.
I'm not sure if you knew that.
That's not the
All right,
day
so
of.
which one
Those are
do
day
you
of?
have an objection to?
This is the day of?
If so, yeah.
Or the same picture? You want 2 of the same?
They're a little different. That's okay. Might not be. And then that one. The last one there. With the crown.
Oh, yeah.
So these, I don't think you meant these.
Let me just double check.
Because they're her bathing suit?
Yep, yep, yep. Judge, the 2 that I would object to actually are defense A25 and defense A24 and defense A26.
So there's 3 of them that
Yes,
you have
Judge.
an objection to.
Yes.
They're not on the We could throw it.
Oh, it's so. A24, excuse me.
I have to, can I see it? Yes. Judge, these photos, these 3 particular photos are context photos in the sense that testimony has already come out in this case about the relationship between the Pinos and the girls that were on the boat, and the Pinos and the Fernandezes. And these photos just corroborate that testimony, just like the state, through their witnesses, introduced photographs that corroborated testimony of their witnesses and videos that corroborated testimony of their witnesses. These are a limited amount of photos. We're not bringing a cavalry of 100 photos that show how close the families are. It's 3 photos, and it just corroborates that testimony that's already out in the trial and that we presume will come out through Mrs. Pino. That's it. And go ahead, sorry. Well, I'll let you go, and the relevance of it is the Miller case. I'm assuming that Your Honor wants the relevance of it. In the Miller versus State case, in looking at the mens rea element, the people on the boat, the relationship between Mr. Pino and his family and the people on the boat is relevant for the jury to consider in determining how he acted, what was in his mind that day. For example, in Miller, the court said, how could it be logically inferred that I have the direct quote right here, actually. Let me just read you from the case.
Could you tell us the site, please?
Yeah. Miller versus State, this was cited in our motion to dismiss. It's 75 Southern 2nd, 312, Florida Supreme Court, 1954. I'll just read it to you. Can it logically be argued that with the defendant's wife and baby sitting in the front seat by him, that his act in pulling out of the line of traffic was gross and flagrant and evinced a reckless disregard of human life? If any inference may be drawn from the conduct, it must be an inference that the act was the result of a momentary lapse of memory, inattention, or mistake of judgment, for the simple reason the defendant knew that such an act would place in jeopardy not only his life, but the life of his wife and his own flesh and blood sitting beside him on the front seat. This is not the kind of situation where the alleged gross and flagrant act endangers only the life or safety of another, and where the actor and his loved ones would remain unscathed, such as would be the case of firing a gun indiscriminately down a busy street, as suggested in the state's argument. When considered in the light of every fact which was before the jury, the inferences attempted to be drawn by the state, and upon which their entire argument for affirmance rests are unreasonable, illogical, and do not naturally flow from such evidence. That's it. The point is that the relationship, who these people were on this boat, Mr. Pino's actions that day, in the context of who the people are on the boat, is important for the jury to know and to understand how close these families were. That's why it's relevant. Go ahead.
Thank you. The state introduced photographs to corroborate information that was part of the elements of the offense. The defense hasn't really explained, other than to say that these are photographs that show that there was a close relationship. I don't see how the close relationship has any bearing on the elements of this offense.
What occurred that day?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to understand what relationship do these photographs have to corroborate the testimony about what happened that day?
Well, it corroborates Mr. Fernandez's own testimony that he's known Ceci Pino his whole life, right? And it gives the jury an image of how close these families were. And all of the girls on the boat, Mrs. Pino's on the boat, George is driving the boat, Mr. Pino is driving the boat. So knowing who all those people are is a factor, and their relationship to Mr. Pino is a factor that the jury should consider when they're assessing, did he intentionally, consciously disregard a danger that he knew existed? Would he do that? Is that something that he would do, considering the relationship between the girls on the boat and him? Is that something that the jury, that is something that the jury should consider, and they should have that for context?
I would just say, Judge, that once again, it feels like the defense is defending against charges that are not filed against Mr. Pino. There's no allegation he deliberately ran into the channel marker. The allegations are that he took a course of action intentionally, that the ultimate result was unintentional, but he intentionally was the one who was navigating the vessel, choosing what speed at which to operate that vessel. So I don't understand how this relates to an argument that, well, he wouldn't intentionally try to harm his family or his friends or children of his friends.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it with these photos. I don't see the connection to either corroborating, testimony at that time. I mean, you have a photograph here. I don't know who all these people are. Is it the Fernandez family and the Pino family in the photo?
Yes, Judge.
Okay.
That's right.
And I would also point out that if they were to introduce those photos, it may open up a door to me bringing out some information about how the Fernandez family feels about the Pino family at this point in time, and why that photograph is no longer an accurate depiction of their feelings toward the Pinos. So there's that.
Have you considered,
Well, our position would be that it wouldn't open the door to that, because what's relevant is what's in Mr. Pino's mind,
we don't know what's in Mr. Pino's mind.
but the jury has to determine that, right? Because there's a mens rea to this. So the jury's sitting there and they have to look at the evidence, judge, and determine what was in his mind. This gives them the context
At
to
the
do.
time of the
Yeah,
events.
exactly. So anything after that, how people feel about him now or anything like that wouldn't help the jury decide what was in Mr. Pino's mind that day.
I'm still having trouble with the connection. So, I'm gonna, 824 and 826 deny. I'll think about 825. I'll think about it, I'll reserve on 825.
Your Honor, when Your Honor is saying denied, does that mean that this court is going to sustain the state's objection to them being
Yes.
admitted?
Yes,
Okay.
they're not gonna be admitted, because they're on a motion anyway. I'll reserve right now, I wanna hear the testimony.
Judge, just to be clear, I'm sorry, 824 is just a picture of a previous boat trip with some of the girls on the boat. Your Honor is not allowing that in?
No,
Okay.
Your Honor, may I inquire which exhibit number is the one you're holding, please?
this is 825. I'll reserve on 825. When we get towards the end of the testimony, then I'll readdress it in sidebar.
Well, I would get into that earlier, I think.
Excuse me?
I was going to get into that earlier in the testimony. I could wait till the end, I guess, to get into it. Yeah.
That's it?
From the state, yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Everyone please be seated, thank you. All right, defense. Next witness, please.
Defense calls Cecilia Pino.
swear?
You solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes.
Please have a seat. Thank you. And keep your voice nice and loud into the microphone, even though it's in one direction and the jury's in the other direction. Okay.
Can I move this together?
So I'm going to unplug anything.
No, we're
We're
good.
good?
Okay.
Very good.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Pino.
Good afternoon.
My name is Ed Armelino. I represent your husband, George Pino. You've met me before?
Yes.
We've discussed this case before?
Yes.
Last week, you testified in front of the jury, correct?
Yes.
Was that the first time that you've ever testified in a trial?
Yes.
Is it safe to say you're nervous?
Yes.
So let's start easy. Can you please turn to the jury and tell them your name?
My name is Cecilia Pino.
And how old are you?
I am 51.
How long have you been married?
We've been married for 25 years.
And who are you married to?
George Pino.
Can you point to George in the courtroom and identify him by an
Yes.
article of clothing?
He's wearing a black suit and a white shirt and blue tie.
Do you need water or tissue?
No.
Okay. What do you do for work?
I work at my husband's company. I'm in charge of marketing and social media and event planning.
So what's the name of your husband's company?
State Street Realty.
Did you go to college?
I did.
Where'd you go?
I went to the University of Florida and I graduated with a marketing degree.
And do you do marketing now for your husband's company?
Yes.
Prior to working for your husband's company, did you have other jobs?
I did. I've worked in retail. I worked in public relations in a public relations company. I worked in pharmaceutical sales.
And then eventually, how did you come to work for his company?
When he started the company, I wanted to help him, and I had a public relations and marketing background, so that is what I do for the company. I send out press releases, work on Instagram and social media and marketing, and any events I help coordinate.
Do you and George have any children?
We do. We have 2 daughters,
And what are their names?
Carolina and Cecilia.
And when were they born?
Carolina was born in 2003, and Ceci was born in 2004.
When they were born, did you take any time off work, or did you work through that? How did that work?
I did. I was in pharmaceutical sales at the time, and my husband and I decided that I would stay home and raise my girls.
Did you, as they grew up, were you involved heavily in the schools?
Yes. Both my girls went to Epiphany School, which is also where George and I went. And I was very involved in the school. I've always been involved in their schools, whether it's as a room mom, the mom when they play soccer, like in charge of the team mom. They eventually went to a different school, and I was a mentor liaison there, which coordinated when new families would come. I would help connect those families to existing families, and I was involved there and in their extracurricular that they did for the school. I helped. They called me there the soccer mom as well.
You said you were a room mom. What does that mean?
Room mom is like when each class has a parent, a room parent. It can be a dad as well, and you help the teacher coordinate if there's activities, or you're the liaison between the teacher and the parent.
So as a room mom, did you become familiar with any of the students that were in the class?
Yes.
And were any of those students friendly with your daughter?
Yes.
Do you remember at Epiphany any of the girls who you were a room mom for that class?
Yes. My girls have had a lot of their friends have been lifelong friends from their days at Epiphany and high school too.
And we'll get there, but eventually on September 4th, 2022, there was a boating accident, right?
Yes.
And there were, how many girls were on the boat that were friends with your daughter?
There were 11 girls on the boat. And so Ceci has had a relationship, my daughters from Epiphany, when they started in pre-K4 with most of these girls. Kathy, Claudia, Lucy, Natalie, Carolina, they all went to Epiphany together.
And when they went to Epiphany from that young age, did they come over your house a lot too?
Yes,
And when they would come over, would Mr. Pino be there too?
yes,
Did Mr. Pino know those girls?
yes, we have known those girls and we've loved those girls since they were little.
And let's talk about your husband a little bit.
Mhm.
You said you were married for 25 years.
Yes.
So when you, where did he go to college?
George went to FIU.
And what did he do after that?
He,
Judge of relevance, Your Honor.
George has always had, he's always worked, and after college he got into property management, and property management is, you have like a big business park, commercial. He worked for a company and he was a property manager for that company, so he was in charge of making sure the landscape was maintained, the buildings were maintained, making sure the tenants were happy. If they needed the building painted, they would let him know. So he was very good at building relationships with people. Eventually, that company had a real estate division, and people saw him, and they kind of brought him over to the real estate division, and that is how he got involved in commercial real estate. And he's loved that job. He's very good at it. He's a people person and a very hard worker. And he opened up his company in 2011.
So he opened that company up after he learned the ropes first through
Yes.
the years?
Yes.
Okay. On September 4th, 2022, were you and your family members of the Ocean Reef Club?
Yes, we were.
And how long were you members of Ocean Reef Club?
We've been members of the Ocean Reef Club since 2004.
Right, you were what's called social members, right?
Yes, we were social members, and we would spend a lot of our summers there. We would go there. We actually found, George found a house that they rented to us for, I think it was like $1,000 a month, and we would go there for, it started first just going weekends, and then we eventually started going, we'd rent for like 3 months. And George would commute back and forth because the commute wasn't even as, it was sometimes better than our Kendall home too.
Let me stop you.
Okay.
So you said George, meaning Mr. Pino, would commute to Ocean Reef Club and then back to your home?
Yes.
And your home was in Miami-Dade?
Yes.
And was Mr. Pino working through the
No.
summer while that was happening?
Yes, what I meant is he would sometimes commute, like while the girls and I, if we were there in Ocean Reef, he would commute from Ocean Reef sometimes to work because the traffic is sometimes better, that was faster that way than from our Kendall home to the route.
Okay, so depending on where he was going then.
Yes, yes, but we would spend the summers there, and you know, my friends would laugh because he would, when he would take off time, it would be, they would call it Camp George, and he's always been very active, very involved with the kids. He loved to plan, you know, today we're gonna wake up and we're gonna play pickleball and tennis, and we're gonna go on the boat, and we're gonna go snorkeling, and I'm more like, I like to just relax and read a book or something, and he was always been very active and loved to do any activities that were going on.
So you mentioned a boat. The blue boat, I think, big one on it. It's not in it? Okay. Yes. Let's look at it. Thank you. Showing the witness what's been marked as for ID. Marked for ID as Exhibit 1H. Just for reference, this boat is the boat that was in the accident on September 4th, 2022?
Yes.
Okay, so prior to this boat, did you and your family own another boat?
Yes, we did. It was a yellow boat.
No, just demonstrative. The other boat that you owned previously, what kind of boat was it? Do
It
you
was
remember?
a yellow robalo as well.
I'm showing the witness what's been marked for ID as Exhibit A22. Well, I'm showing, the state, yes. Showing the state. Now showing the witness what's been marked as A22. Mrs. Pino, take a look at that. Do you recognize that?
Yes, this is our yellow boat.
Is that the boat that you previously owned to the blue boat?
Yes,
And you've seen this picture before?
yes.
So to offer A22 into evidence?
No objection.
Without objection.
A22, marked for identification, defense exhibit S.
Just can the witness step down?
Sure.
Mrs. Pino, if you can join me over here.
Just please keep your voice up now.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I'm publishing Exhibit S now for the jurors. Mrs. Pino, you can kind of step here so you can see. Do you see numbers here on the engine?
Yes,
What are the numbers there?
225.
And do you know what that means?
The motors have 225 horsepower.
Okay. Thank you. So as members of Ocean Reef Club, you had that boat at Ocean Reef Club?
Yes,
As members there, did you oftentimes vacation with some of your friends?
yes, we
Like who?
had a lot of friends that were members, and Andy and Melissa were members, and we would see them there in the summers a lot, and that's really where the girls hung out a lot. And we would always take friends. We always had girls with us, and a lot of the parents of the girls would also attend Ocean Reef, and we'd see them there and hang out with them there.
Okay, and for clarity, when you say Andy and Melissa, you mean Andy and Melissa Fernandez?
Correct.
And when you say the girls, who are you referring to? Are they kids, adults?
Lucy, Ceci, Gatti, Coco would come with us. All the girls we've taken there before.
Okay, and on any of these trips, is this where it would be kind of like Camp George, like you said?
Yes.
So, how long have you personally known Andy Fernandez?
Andy and I were friends since Epiphany, and when we both attended.
I know it's hard, but I couldn't hear you. I don't know.
I'm
Please,
sorry.
take a second.
He and I went to elementary school together in Epiphany.
In Epiphany, right?
Yes, Epiphany School.
And how would you characterize your friendship from that point forward?
He was my best friend.
Did he know Mr. Pino that long?
No.
When did he meet Mr. Pino?
I believe Andy and George got to know each other after I started dating George. Some of the other boys that I was friends with knew George from family. They had known each other since they were little.
And were your families close, meaning your family and the Fernandez family, when you were little?
Well, my mother was the secretary at Epiphany School, so his parents knew my parents like that.
What about through high school and college? You guys remained friends?
We were very close through high school, all through college. Andy read at my wedding. We were always very close friends.
Your families would vacation together, correct?
We
I'm
would
just
see-
waiting, Your Honor.
Would your families vacation together?
We would see each other at Ocean Reef in the summers and hang out together.
Okay. I'm going to fast forward a little bit now to the weekend of Labor Day in 2022, okay? You remember that weekend?
Yes.
So what was the plan for the weekend?
We were celebrating my daughter's birthday, and we were going to have some girls. We had rented a house, and they were going to stay with us, and we were going to go have a day of activities, and then end it with a party, a dinner, at a place called The Point.
Before that, though, on Saturday, did you host any kind of party or dinner at your house?
Saturday, the girls had the night before, they were at a Columbus Beach Bash party. So I drove from Ocean Reef because I was there. I drove down, I met them at my house. We drove to Ocean Reef. And then that night, we went to, I had made lasagna, and we had a dinner party at my house with the girls and the boys.
And how many people attended the party?
Around 20.
You cooked for everybody? Lasagna?
Yes.
So, in the house that you rented for that weekend, you had girls staying there?
Yes.
How many girls do you remember?
Saturday night, there was about, it was 9 girls stayed at the house because one of the girls stayed with her parents that evening, and 2 of the girls showed up on Sunday.
So, you had, how many girls did you say?
9.
9 girls, and you and Mr. Pino, that's 11, right?
Yes.
So how did you get to 20 people at the party?
We had the boys, the group of boys. It was about 6 or 7 boys that came, and there was 2 other couples with us.
Okay, and they were there that weekend as well to
Yes.
celebrate?
Yes.
So let's turn now to Sunday. How did the day start?
We woke up and we watched a virtual mass, and with whoever woke up, and we went to play pickleball. George had arranged like a little pickleball tournament with the girls and the boys and the adults.
Well, let me stop you. You said you had a virtual mass. What does that mean?
You watch mass on the computer versus going out to Key Largo.
And who watched it?
I believe it was George and myself, Ceci, Sarah and Andrea had already gotten there. I think Claudia and Pao.
So a few of the people there.
Yes.
And then after that ended, what did you guys do?
We went to the pickleball courts, and George had arranged a pickleball tournament with the boys and some of the parents as well.
So the pickleball tournament, you said with the boys. Do you mean including the boys or only the boys?
Including the boys. It was the girls, the boys, they all played.
And some of the adults were there?
Yes.
Okay, so now we know pickleball tournament happens. Was that successful?
Yeah.
Everyone have fun?
Yes.
And after that, what happened next?
Then we went back to the house, everyone changed, and we had lunch and we left on the boat.
Now, was the plan that the girls would go with George on the boat?
Yes.
Were there enough seats on the boat for every girl to sit?
Yes.
Did you, do you know where you guys were intending to go?
Elliott Key,
And what were you going to do there?
anchor, hang out.
When you say anchor, you mean like at a sandbar or something
Yes,
like
yes.
that? And did you prepare anything to bring to the sandbar?
I always make sandwiches, and I take chips.
Did you pack any drinks?
I did not pack any drinks.
But there were drinks on the boat?
Yes.
And
yes.
do you know who packed the drinks?
I believe George and his friend.
And those drinks included alcoholic drinks?
Yes.
And you knew that everyone there at the sandbar was going to share a few drinks or whatever, right?
Yes, yes.
Now, do you know how many people in total were at the sandbar?
36, I believe.
Did you actually prepare a list of the people you recall being there?
Yes.
Judge, may I approach?
Yes.
Showing the witness what's marked
I don't
as...
object it being admitted, Judge.
No object? Okay. Offer defense A21 into evidence.
A21, marked by D, now becomes defense exhibit T.
I'm showing the witness defense exhibit T. Mrs. Pino, is this the list that was prepared of the people at the sandbar?
Yes.
And how many girls were there at the sandbar?
13.
And how many boys?
8.
And the when we say girls and boys, what do you mean by that? Like non-adults
The teenagers, yes.
or under 21?
Yes.
Okay. And then where it says adults, how many people were at the sandbar?
15.
And were all, to your knowledge, these people sharing in alcoholic beverages at the sandbar?
Yes.
So I'm just going to publish this quickly. Can you see this list? The 15 adults included you and George, correct?
Correct.
So it wasn't 15 plus you two, it included you?
Right.
Okay, it also included Andy and Melissa were there?
Correct.
Now, at the sandbar, you testified, I think last week you had 1 to 2 Proseccos and, how do you say it?
Chambord.
Chambord. What is that?
A liqueur.
Like a flavor thing?
Yes.
So when you had those 1 to 2 drinks, did you yourself feel impaired?
No.
Did you feel like you were buzzed?
No.
How long were you there at the sandbar?
2 or 3 hours.
Now, at the sandbar, do you know if Mr. Pino was drinking alcohol?
I didn't see him.
Why didn't you
alcohol.
see him?
I just didn't. When we were there and I was hanging out mostly with the wives, I didn't notice if he was or wasn't having. I honestly don't remember or I didn't see him.
All right, so you, when you say you didn't see him, did you physically see him?
Yes, he was there. Everybody was together. It wasn't, I know he was there, I just don't.
And let's go back to the list. Can I have that list back? Of the 15 adults approaching the witness with defense exhibit T, when you say it was talking to the wives, how many wives are there that you were hanging out with?
5, 6 women.
Okay. Can you say their names?
Yes. Lourdes, Margie, Tiffany, Melissa, Kelly, and Kelly's friend.
You and George would go to sandbars often,
Yes.
and when you would go, would this be common for you to hang out with the wives and George to hang out elsewhere?
Yes.
So, but you know now that Mr. Pino told the police that he had 2 beers after this accident occurred, right?
Yes.
Would that be something that would be common for him to do at a sandbar?
Yes.
And you've been married to him for 25 years?
Yes.
You've observed him have 2 beers over a couple of hours?
Yes.
When he does that, does Mr. Pino seem drunk to you?
No.
Does he seem buzzed?
No.
Before leaving the sandbar, you both got on the same boat, correct?
Yes.
And you actually, did you sit next to him?
Yes, I did.
I don't object to this, Committee Judge.
Okay. No objection.
No objection, Judge. I'll offer 827 and 828 into evidence.
827, mark for identification. Now, Defense Exhibit U. 828, Defense Exhibit V, as in Victor.
Thank you. So I'm showing you U and V, Defense Exhibit U and Defense Exhibit V. Are these the same exact photo?
Yes.
What's the difference between the two? Why are they 2 different exhibits?
This one looks like if it's from the phone, and this one is just zoomed in.
What do you mean this one is from the phone?
This one has the date and the time.
Why don't we go and show the jury if that's okay with you? Thank you. So I'm going to sit so I can get closer. You kind of. Okay, so you got 2 photos here. Are they the same photo? Okay, so why are they 2 separate exhibits? What is that?
This one has
I need you to keep your voice up. I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
This one has the date and time, here and here, and that one is just show.
So that time on Exhibit U on the top left there, what does that time say?
80.
What does that time reflect?
The time of the set.
The screenshot?
Yes,
Okay, and then what is this date here? September 4, 2022?
correct.
What is that?
The date.
Is that the date the picture was taken?
Yes.
And then what about that gray time there underneath that? What number does that say?
6:30. It says 1831. It's not, but it's 6:31.
That would be 6:31 p.m.?
Yes.
Okay. And you can sit. Mrs. Pino, that's you on the left there?
Correct.
And the person there with the white hat, who's that?
That's George.
That's George. So you were sitting right next to Mr. Pino on the boat, right?
Yes.
So before you left the sandbar, what did you do?
I got on the boat and I was cleaning up.
I'm sorry.
I'm
Try
sorry.
Try to speak into the mic.
I got on the boat and I was cleaning up the boat. I was picking up the trash, the chips, the cans, and putting them away.
When you say the cans and stuff, you mean the empties that
Yes.
were on the boat?
Yes.
And that's before Mr. Pino actually drove away from the sandbar?
Yes, that's correct.
So at some point, did Mr. Pino come onto the boat?
Yes.
And when he did, before you guys sat in your seat, did you interact with him?
Yes.
And you
Yes.
observed him up close?
Yes.
And did you believe that he was impaired by alcohol?
No.
And if you did believe that, would you have let him drive the boat?
No, I would never have.
Why not?
Because I would never put myself or any of those girls at risk.
And one moment. Judge, I believe there's no objection. I'm going to offer out of order A29, A30, A31, A32, and A33 into evidence.
All right, without objection?
It's not in order, I'm so sorry.
It was remarked as 829 becomes defense exhibit W. 830 is defense exhibit X. 831 defense exhibit Y. 832 defense exhibit Z. 833 defense exhibit 2A.
Thank you. Okay, Mrs. Pino, I'm going to go through these with you. Defense Exhibit W. Do you recognize who's in this photograph?
Yes.
Who is it?
Cammy, Ceci, and George.
Wait, your name's Ceci. When you say Ceci, you mean your daughter?
Yes.
And do you know when this photo was taken?
The day of the accident.
Is this at Billy's Point at the sandbar?
Yes.
In the public sector? Showing Defense Exhibit X. Do you recognize the people in this picture?
Yes. Yes.
Who are they?
Carolina, Lucy, Coco, Claudia, and Ceci, and George.
And where's George?
He was doing compartment stuff.
Okay. And was this taken on September 4th, 2022?
Yes, it was.
Was this before you left Billy's Point to head back to Ocean Reef?
Yes, it was.
Defense X. Give me a second. Okay, kind of do these faster so we can just, okay. This is Defense Y, Defense Z already in evidence, and Defense 2A. You recognize these photographs?
Yes.
And were they all taken on September 4th, 2022?
Yes.
Were they all taken at the sandbar?
This one was not.
Where was this one taken?
We were leaving out of Ocean Reef because you could see the house or condo there.
Okay, so the boat's idling here?
Yes.
Okay. The public judge?
Yes.
Now, Mrs. Pino, just going back a second, when you testified earlier that you were cleaning up the boat, picking up empties, were there a lot of empties on your boat?
Yes, there were.
And why?
When the kids were mostly hanging around the boys and girls and whoever is around the boat, usually they just throw whatever you're drinking on that boat, because you're not going to hold the whole time. So we had whoever was hanging around the boat would throw it. With adults,
Did you observe that?
yes.
Now, on the way back to Ocean Reef, you said you were sitting next to Mr. Pino?
Yes.
What were you doing?
I was sending a text to the moms of right before we left. The girls were all dancing and singing. And I was videotaping them and I was sending the video to the moms. And the little blue line wasn't going through.
And defense exhibit V. You want a tissue?
I'm fine.
Okay. This one. This is the picture of George driving the boat and
Yes.
you sitting next to him.
Yes.
You're kind of looking down, right?
Yes.
Is that you on your phone there trying to send a message?
Yes.
And you know who took this picture?
Mia.
Now, you're trying to send this message and it's not going through. Did you get messages through though? You were sending some pictures or no?
The video went through later.
It went through later. Okay.
Yes.
What's the next thing you remember?
The next thing I remember is being on the side of the boat. Being on the side of the boat, and there were a couple girls in front of me, and I told them to jump because water was coming on the boat. So I told them to jump. And then I remember coming out of the water, like getting my head out of the water and seeing Mia and Cammie. And I grabbed Mia. And Mia's she's bigger than me, she's taller than me, so it was hard for me. And there was a cushion floating. And Cammie was there, and I asked Cammie to give me the cushion so I could hold Mia. And I was holding the cushion and leaving Mia on me. And I remember just turning around and seeing some of the girls and saying, "Who's missing? Who's missing?" And I heard a name. And I just remember seeing a boat, some boats coming, a big gray boat, and I told the girls, "Swim to the boat, swim to the boat." The girls swam to the boat, and again I said, "Who is missing?" And that's when I heard that it was Lucy missing. And I was just in the water, and another boat came, grabbed Mia from me, and they took Mia to the big boat, and I was just trying to find Lucy in the water. And then that little boat came and got me on the boat. And then
So let me stop.
Okay.
Let me take you back. Take a sip of water. So, you're trying to send a video, right?
Yes.
Next thing you know, you said you were straddling the side of the boat.
Yes.
I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 11. You recognize this?
Yes.
Is this the Robalo?
Yes.
Do you see here in pink where it says Mrs. Pino?
Yes.
I have a blue pen here. If you can just mark down like kind of where you ended up. The next thing you remember, you said straddling the side of the boat. Just write your name. Okay. You put a blue circle with a C and wrote Mrs. Pino. Here. You wanted the girls to jump out of the boat?
Yes.
Is that because it was sinking?
Yes.
Now, at this time you're in the water, what are you feeling? Chaos?
Yes, we were in the water. I had Mia and Cammie, and I just remember turning around and seeing some of the girls and just, you know, I knew I had to get them. I didn't see anything near us, and I knew I had to get them to somewhere. So I remember just seeing a big gray boat coming towards us and going like this. And that's when I told the girls, swim to the boat, swim to the boat. And they swam towards the boat. And that's when I remember asking again, who is missing? Who is missing? And that's when they told me that Lucy was missing.
Were you rescued by that little gray boat?
No,
Which boat rescued you?
a little boat. The gray boat was a big boat where the girls were, and there was a little boat that came and grabbed me up from me, took me up to the big boat, and then came to get Cammie and I.
When you were on that boat, did you see Mr. Pino?
When I was on that boat is when I finally saw George by the boat, by our boat.
So the whole time you're in the water, do you even think about Mr. Pino?
No. No, I didn't. I was just thinking of the girls.
And when you first saw him, what did you see?
He was just a little head bobbing by the boat. And he just looked, like he was just shocked. And I just saw his little head.
After the accident, did you suffer any injuries?
I did. I had a gash in the front of my head.
Were you taken from the scene?
Yes, I was taken from the little boat. They took me to, I don't forget where, but I was airlifted by helicopter to Jackson South.
And while this is going on, did you see your husband at all?
No.
So did you have any idea what was going on at the scene at this time? You're no longer there?
No.
When's the next time you saw Mr. Pino?
I saw him the next day. I checked myself out of the hospital and I got home and I saw him at home.
And do you know if he went to the hospital?
Yes, he did.
Did you observe that he had any injuries?
Yes, when I saw him, he had staples in his head. His teeth were fractured. He had his elbow had stitches. He had a gash on his leg.
Showing the witness what's marked as A23 for identification. Mrs. Pino, have you ever seen this picture?
Yes,
What is it a picture of?
my husband's teeth,
How do you know that?
because it's my husband.
And does it fairly and accurately depict what his teeth looked like after this accident?
Yes.
Judge, I'd offer A23 into evidence.
No, Judge.
823, mark for identification, now defense exhibit 2B.
After the accident, did Mr. Pino go back to work immediately?
No.
Did he take some time off?
Yes.
Do you remember how much?
It's his company, so it probably took him months, and his partner would come. George, after the accident, was very different. He would just stay in bed. He was very depressed and anxious, and he would sleep, and it took him a long time before he could get to work, and even to this day, he's not completely.
Objection relevant, Judge. Sustained.
It took him a while before he could Go. Sorry.
Good question, sorry. A moment. Judge, can we have a 5-minute recess?
Do you have more questions?
Just a few, but
All right, we're going to take just a couple of moments. Actually, can I have the jury go into the jury room?
Sure.
A couple of minutes, all right. Please leave your notepads at your seats if you would. Step into the jury room. Do not discuss the case.
okay. So, Judge, to the side. Well, I just don't want to.
Everyone, please be seated. Thank you. All right, counsel, you can continue.
Thank you, Judge. Mrs. Pino, only a few more questions for you. I want to show you what's already in evidence as State's Exhibit 13. These are answers to interrogatories that you signed in a civil matter.
Yes.
Now, on the last page, which is page, are there page numbers? Okay, well, the last page, is that your signature there?
Yes.
And the date is what?
October 19, 2023.
Now, does it say, I declare under penalty of perjury under the laws of the United States? You see that paragraph?
Yes.
What does the last part of that sentence say? Can you read it?
Foregoing interrogatories are true and correct to the best of my knowledge.
And at the time that you signed this document, were all the answers in this true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
And why, how can you answer questions if you don't have a recollection of how the accident occurred?
Because that is how I understood the accident occurred, because that's what my husband told me.
And did you have any reason at the time to doubt that?
No.
Nothing further. Thank you, Mrs. Pino.
Thank you.
Cross.
Mrs. Pino, you signed a document under the penalty of perjury that the crash happened because of the wake of another vessel, correct?
Correct.
You didn't answer saying, my husband told me that this is what happened, did you?
No, but the question doesn't say that I saw anything.
Describe in detail, this is from State's Exhibit number 13 in evidence. Describe in detail how the incident described in the complaint, meaning the accusation, happened, including all actions taken by you to prevent the incident. Your answer was, While returning to Ocean Reef, a vessel passed heading in the opposite direction. The vessel caused a wake, and then the accident occurred. That's what your answer was, wasn't it?
Yes.
And then you were asked, describe in detail each act or omission on the part of any party to this lawsuit that you contend constituted negligence that was a contributing legal cause of the incident in question. And your answer was, the wake of the unidentified vessel headed northbound was a contributing legal cause of the incident in question. That was your answer, wasn't it?
Yes.
Now, obviously, you've been married to the defendant for a long time, correct?
Yes.
And it seems pretty clear you love your husband.
Yes.
You have 2 children together, although they're now adults, right?
Yes.
But growing up, your husband was a good father to them, wouldn't you agree?
Amazing.
And in fact, he was active in raising them, right?
Yes.
He helped pay for them to get a good education, correct?
Yes.
Some of the best private schools in Miami, right?
Yes.
And you and your husband raised them to honor the church, right?
Yes.
And to be religious.
Yes.
And that meant teaching them right from wrong, correct?
Yes.
And it also meant teaching them things like taking responsibility for your actions, correct?
Yes.
And it also meant teaching your children that actions have consequences, didn't it?
Yes.
But your husband isn't just your husband and the father of your children, he's also your business partner, isn't he?
I work for him.
And certainly with him being the chief executive officer at State Street Realty with $1.75 billion in sales, certainly you would agree that he's in a better financial position to make money than you are, correct?
He's the breadwinner.
Okay. And throughout your marriage, you all have enjoyed a robust social life, haven't you?
We're social, yes.
And you have many friends that you've socialized with,
Yes.
correct? Gone to parties,
Yes.
played pickleball,
Yes.
played tennis,
Yes.
group gatherings,
Yes.
boating trips together,
Yes.
membership at Ocean Reef Club.
Yes.
Your husband, in fact, was even on the Orange Bowl committee here in Miami, right?
Yes.
Now, on the day that his boat crashed into that channel marker, you've already explained to us in your testimony that you had 1 to 2 Yetis with Prosecco and a splash of Chambord, correct?
Correct.
But in your interrogatory that you answered under oath, you indicated that you had 2 servings of Prosecco, each with a splash of Chambord. Not 1 to 2, you answered 2, correct?
If that's what it says there.
Do you want to look at it?
Sure.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
So you said in your interrogatory that it was 2 servings, not 1 to 2, correct?
Yes.
Now, your life has changed immensely since your husband crashed into that channel marker, hasn't it?
Yes.
Showing counsel states 5W and 5X.
Judge, can you stop?
Hold on a minute, let me see which one. All right, come on over here for a moment.
Pino, I'm showing you State's Exhibits 5X and 5W.
Yes,
Have you seen these images before?
yes, I have.
Are these photographs that were taken in December of 2022
Yes,
of you, your husband, and your 2 daughters?
yes.
I move States 5X and 5W for identification and evidence.
Over objection.
All right, so noted, and no objection.
5W, micro ID, now State's Exhibit 117, 5X 118.
I'm sorry, 17 and
117, 118. 18.
These are the images of your grieving husband and just a couple of months after this horrific crash, correct?
Objection, Judge.
Overruled.
Can I explain? That was,
I didn't have any questions for her.
The question
She
was,
wants to explain her response, counsel.
Okay, I understand if I can just get back to the podium first. What's your explanation?
so the first picture, there was one picture that was taken when we went to get away. For the past 8 years or so, my family, along with Gogo's family, and actually the Fernandezes have gone before, and so have the Quigs. We would go to the Panhandle and vacation there. And this particular year, in 2022, of course, we didn't want to go. The families encouraged us to go, and we went because it was good for the girls and to get away from all the noise, and so we did. And my girls needed that, and my husband, being the incredible father that he is,
Objections to
we
narrative.
went, and we went, and he stayed indoors most of the time. And that particular picture was taken when you go to the Panhandle. There's little towns. We stayed in Seaside, and you can drive to Rosemary Beach, and that's where that picture was taken. We went with Claudia's family as well that day. And my eldest posted that picture because it was probably one of the first times she had seen her father smile in a long time.
Okay.
And she posted that picture.
Thank you, Judge. Now, when
Can
you
I
were...
explain the second picture?
Go ahead. Yes,
The
ma'am.
second picture is my girls' high school that they go to. Their senior year, they don't. Their senior pictures are not traditional pictures where you have the gown that you wear and pose. You take family photos, so you go to the school and you take a family photo. And my eldest was home from college, and we had to take the picture in December because it's when she was home. And our family got together and we took that picture. That picture was actually posted in March when her best friend's family sued our family. And the motto, she puts in the comment, "Love conquers all," which is their school motto. Love conquers all.
Now, I noticed that when the defense attorney was asking a lot of questions, you were crying quite a bit. Fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. Your daughter, little Ceci, your namesake, she wasn't badly injured in this crash, was she?
No.
It was not your daughter that was very physically injured in this crash, right?
Right.
And it wasn't your daughter who died as a result of this crash, was it?
No.
It was Lucy's family who lost a child, not yours. Correct?
Correct.
Nothing else.
Counsel, interrupt?
just briefly,
Sure.
Mrs. Pino, did you love Lucy?
Yes.
I'm going to ask you a question about the interrogatories.
Yes.
approaching the witness with what's in evidence as State's Exhibit 13. See how it's some of there's a number and it's bold, and then it's kind of like an answer that's not bold?
Yes.
Okay. Did you type any of these?
No.
Did you write any of these?
No.
How did these get presented to you?
My lawyer prepared it.
So the words, for example, in the answer to number 5, in the non-bold, was that written by you?
No.
Who wrote that?
My lawyer.
A moment, Judge. Nothing further, Judge. Thank you, Mrs. Pino.
Can I see them just for a moment? I don't need the court.